All right, let's talk about the big one. We're going to break down the exact blueprint for smashing that 200-plus score barrier in the IPMAT. If you've ever felt like you're stuck, well, this is for you. Let's dive right in.
So does this feel familiar? I mean, you're putting in the work, you're solving all the problems, but your mock scores just will not move past that frustrating 150 to 180 zone. It seriously feels like you've hit a wall, right? Well, guess what? We're about to tear that wall down.
Okay, first things first. We have got to get our mindset right. We need to completely reframe how we look at this 200-plus target. It's not some impossible mountain to climb. It's a very real, very achievable goal.
And here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. A score of 200 out of 360 isn't asking you to be perfect, not even close. It's a great score for sure, but it's totally within reach. You have to remember, this paper is designed so you don't solve everything. The real key is just believing that, yep, this can be done.
And that leads us to maybe the single most important mental shift you can make. This isn't about studying harder or for more hours. It's about becoming a smarter scorer. It's all about strategy, not just brute force.
And look at this, it lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the average attempt, right? Chasing every single question, getting sucked into those difficult problems, and just burning through time. But the 200-plus attempt, totally different. It's about being selective, protecting your accuracy, and dodging those time-wasting traps.
So what does this all mean? It means the exam isn't just a test of what you know. It's a game of control. Just throwing plain, vanilla effort at every single problem, that's a losing strategy. The exam rewards the people who can stay calm, make smart choices, and actually execute a plan under pressure.
You know, I love this way of thinking about it. Your job isn't to be some kind of mark collector, frantically trying to grab everything in sight. No way. You are a mark picker. You strategically go in and select the easiest, highest value points to build your score in the smartest way possible.
Okay, so we've got the mindset down. Now let's get into the actual actionable plan. Here it is, the concrete, section-by-section blueprint you can use to structure your entire attempt and nail that 200-plus score.
So the trick here is to give each section a specific job. Think of VRC, or verbal ability, as your cutoff navigator. Its only job is to get you safely past that tricky sectional cutoff. But QA, the quant section, that's your score booster. This is where you really pull away from everyone else and just rack up those points.
And here's what that looks like in terms of numbers. We're talking a minimum target of 120 plus in VRC to safely navigate that cutoff. Then, in quant, you're aiming for 80 or more. You put those two together, and boom, you're right in that 200 plus winning zone. This is your game plan.
All right, pay close attention, because this next part, this is the absolute game changer. This is the tactic that brings the entire blueprint to life inside the exam hall. We call it the 3-round attack strategy.
Now, the whole strategy is built on one simple but honestly really powerful idea. Not all questions are created equal. I mean, every question gets you the same number of marks, right? So why on earth would you spend 10 minutes on some ridiculously hard problem when you could solve 3 easy ones in that same amount of time?
So here's how it works. In round 1, you're a hunter. You scan the whole paper and you pick off all those easy questions, the sitters, to lock in your cutoffs fast. Then, in round 2, you go back and start working on the moderate questions. This is where you actually win the game and build that big score. And finally, round 3 is all about discipline. You very carefully attempt a tough question here or there, or, and this is key, you just dodge them completely to protect your score.
Let me say that again, because it's so important. The game is secured with the easy marks you grab in round 1, but it's won in round 2, in that moderate zone where you can really push your score to the next level. That's the whole philosophy right there.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, I want us to shift our thinking one last time. This isn't about just surviving, just clearing the cutoff. This is about aiming for a dominant score that puts you in the driver's seat.
A lot of people just aim to clear the cutoffs. And if you do the math, that usually lands you somewhere around, let's say, 175. Think of that as the survival score, the bare minimum. And that leads to a pretty serious question. Is just surviving really enough? I mean, clearing the cutoff might get you a look, but it doesn't guarantee a confident call. It doesn't make that final selection process any easier.
Because when you aim for 200 plus, you're not just chasing a number. You're fighting for something real. You're trying to secure that call from IIM Indore.
You're giving yourself a massive confidence boost walking into that personal interview. And you're taking so much pressure off yourself in those final critical stages.
So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. The next time you sit down for a mock, the next time you're deep in your prep, just ask yourself this. Are you just playing to scrape by and clear the line? Or are you ready to use this strategy, to adopt this mindset, and to really lead the pack?